You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Real Husbands of Hollywood After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Real Husbands of Hollywood After Show.
Sound like a runway song. You just want to strut and chat.
All right.
Let's do it.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another AfterBuzz TV After Show for the Real Husbands of Hollywood. This is season 2, episode 5, Rock, Paper, Steelers. I'm your host, Michelle Renee, and I have my wonderful panel of co-hosts here.
Fahnia Thomas.
Yes.
Larice Peoples.
Chloe Onyx.
All right, so we're going to jump right into the episode. This one was a pretty funny one, and we obviously saw Chris Rock, who is a pretty big comedian, and that's pretty much the whole theme of this episode was who's bigger, Chris Rock or Kevin Hart. So
well, who do you think's bigger?
I don't know. We'll get into that a little bit later. That's our third topic, so we can save that for later. But the show starts, and we see some famous comedians from the past. Anthony Anderson.
Chris Spencer.
Which I didn't know who that was.
Are you serious?
No, I'm dead serious.
No.
And I was like, I probably shouldn't say that on air, but like, what has he been in? For people that are ignorant like me, what has he been in?
He's a comedian. He's produced. He actually the producer of Real Husband of Hollywood. So he's like a TV producer.
All right.
So we know you're not getting a job.
Wow.
Well, I'm not a comedian.
Yeah, you're okay. And he
Nah.
also does like in LA. He produces comedy shows
Yeah.
like
Okay.
at the Comedy Store on on Black Night.
Actually, he has a new comedy show that he just started. It happens at the Chinese Theater. And I actually went maybe a month ago. It was really good. He actually had Kevin Hart, Mike Epps, and a few other new comedians come out. So it was really cool. It was like this movie theater feel. Like Chris Spencer's doing his thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think I've heard the name before, but just as far as like seeing his face, and especially in comparison to the other comedians who I've like seen and seen them do stand up, I was kind of like, well, I don't know.
Well, he did make reference to it when they were at the poker table, and he had his like claim to fame, like back in his Vibe days. So
Okay, yeah. When they said that, I was kind of like, wait, what? Like, did somebody say New Jack City or something?
Yeah, or like it said, I thought I saw 1997
It
or
said
something.
Yeah, I was like 2 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right, like seriously,
It's like two.
for real.
Okay, but anyway, so the taglines in this show is obviously like really funny, and we always talk every week about the taglines and how they're really funny. And one tagline that really got everyone's attention was the tagline for Anthony Anderson because it said, "Lost weight everywhere but his face."
But it's true. Like when you kind of look, I'm looking at him. I'm just like, man, Anthony. Every time he's like he's getting smaller and smaller, but then like his head is like it still just sits there.
Again, I didn't even know he had lost weight, but he has lost a significant
You can't
amount.
tell?
He's lost a whole person.
No, I can tell he lost weight, obviously, but I didn't know. Like the Anthony Anderson that was in my head was still a big guy. Like this is the first time that I've seen him post Jenny Craig.
It's Hollywood. Everybody's skinny in Hollywood.
Post Jenny Craig.
Jenny Craig.
But
I was
he's
just
been
joking.
small now for maybe a few
It's been a few
years.
years
It's
now.
been a few years because he actually has a show, right? He's a regular on. I think it's
He used to. Yeah.
NCIS or something. I don't know.
Don't
I'm
you
not
notice
sure.
that
okay,
with
yeah.
people like who are mostly heavy set that when they do lose weight, it takes like their head a little bit longer to like catch up to the rest of their body?
Jennifer Hudson.
Not me.
Star Jones.
Yes.
That's a very good example.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It just depends on the person because I lost weight and everybody, the first thing they noticed, they was like, man, your head is small. And I was like, what are you trying to say before?
Well, maybe you had a peanut head to
know-
begin with, and then you had a peanut head.
Who has the opposite? Kelly Price. Have you seen her? She was really, really big. And then she's still a pleasantly plump woman, I guess. But her face is so small. It's like sunken in, and her body's still curvy.
Mm-hmm.
But like, she's the only person that I've seen who lost a lot of weight, and their head is just like tiny, like really tiny. Have you noticed that compared to pictures of her like 1997 Kelly Price to today?
I can't remember.
I haven't seen that many pictures of her to kind of like compare, I guess.
Check it out.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously with a drastic weight change in anyone, it takes people a while to get used to their new look. So, one thing, I mean, do you think that weight loss has helped or hurt Anthony Anderson, or do you think it has any effect on his career as a comedian?
I don't think it has any effect.
No
on his
effect?
career. I mean, he is who he is.
Yeah, well, I mean, what came to mind when I was watching the show, and obviously they did a lot of talk about who's funnier, who's bigger, Chris or Kevin. Kevin Hart is so good looking that even though he's funny, I think a lot of comedians have like a look to them, like something that's goofy about them. They're fat, or they have a big head, or whatever.
How many comedians have you seen?
You wouldn't agree?
No,
I mean,
most comedians kind of have like a goofy look to them, or like fat, or
really.
I never looked at him
Richard
like that.
Pryor's pretty decent, I think. Back
but
in the
Richard
day.
Pryor wasn't handsome.
Eddie Murphy is,
Handsome.
attractive.
Yes.
I think when they go into like their physical comedy and they like play up the like goofy effect of their face, maybe that's like
Martin
a part
Lawrence
of it.
maybe got the big ears.
Yeah, like
Chris
and
Rock has the
Will
nose that's a
Smith.
little.
Yeah, like he has the big ears, but
Are we so wrong right now?
Yeah.
I'm sure
No,
someone
'cause
sitting
I'm
at
not
home like,
saying
and
it-
she got, and she, and he.
No,
and her.
because I'm not saying it in a mean way.
Yeah.
Like, I still think all of those men are cute. Like, Eddie Murphy is attractive. Martin Lawrence is attractive. Chris Rock, he's attractive. But I'm saying, I feel like most
Hughley's
comedians have
attractive.
something that's kind of a little quirky about their look. Not necessarily unattractive, but quirky about their look. So that's why I just wondered, what do y'all think that Anthony Anderson's weight? How do you think that affects his career?
Well, he
But
just
you guys
wasn't
say-
attractive to me before.
Oh, gosh.
For real. He wasn't. He lost weight. I mean, I'm just like, all right, you cool. Like, I wouldn't be looking to date you, thin or fat.
what female comedians do you
This
think
is
are hot?
definitely a female conversation. I'm just gonna
Oh, sorry.
I'm just
Do
out
you
of
date
it.
big girls?
Say what?
I'm just saying. Because
I mean-
we're talking about the weight thing.
Weight is not a problem. It's all about the inner beauty.
Aww.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. Okay.
He's trying to get a date. That's pathetic.
All right, and the other tagline that we saw, of course, was Chris Rock's, and it said, "The producer of Pootie Tang,
Pootie Tang
director,
director.
Pootie Tang director,
Pootie Tang.
That's crazy. Like that, all of the different things that Chris Rock is
has done," and
like,
that's the one they gave him.
seriously, That was hate.
Yeah.
I mean, but
That was funny.
Pootie Tang is a funny movie. That had to be like one of his funnier movies.
I just thought it was.
I wonder
too
if they
much.
let them pick out their little tagline
tagline?
things.
I don't think so. I don't
You don't
think
think
Chris.
so?
I think he would have put like Big Rock. Something
Yeah,
crazy.
something like
Not Pootie Tang director.
Well, I mean, it is satire.
Ooh,
So
That's a
maybe-
hot button word.
Shots
So I mean,
fired.
maybe I could see them letting the funnier characters or the funnier guests on the show choose their own tagline and giving them some agency in like the writing of the show. No.
I don't know.
Nah, I don't think
maybe.
so.
I mean, it's possible that he was like, yeah, I think it's fun. It was funny to me. So
Yeah, I mean, I like
I was
Pootie Tang.
shocked. I was like, seriously though, Pootie Tang director, like head down. I'm just saying.
Hey, that was a funny movie. Any
All
other
right.
tagline?
No
thought
taglines that I saw this episode.
Me either. Did you peep one? Did we miss one?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, Larice, where can our viewers tell us what they think of the taglines?
Hey, everybody, make sure you go out to iTunes and download the AfterBuzz app to basically for all your mobile devices, for your Android, your iPhone capability. Make sure you go to download the Real Husband of Hollywood.
take two.
I didn't know who Chris Spencer was. He doesn't know the name of the
I know.
show, so it's fine.
It's okay. But make sure you kind of, again, like, we love your questions.
Yes.
We do actually like read your comments and everything to try to make the show better. Thank you for all our viewers who have left us comments and everything. So, hey, we're just here trying to make it better and more entertaining for you guys.
Yeah, thanks
Call
for
in.
watching. So moving into our next topic, we see that Oliver, Kevin's assistant, tries his hand at comedy. And obviously one of the themes of this show is the Real Husbands of Hollywood. And a lot of the times they poke fun at things that actually happen in Hollywood. And I think that this is definitely an epidemic in Hollywood. A lot of people try to be comedians and a lot of people aren't funny. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's what Chris said. It's like people think that they can make people laugh. It's kind of like he said in the show, you go into like surgery, like, hey, doctor, watch out. Let me handle this for a moment. You're funny in your own head, but sometimes when you say it out loud, it's not that funny.
But people don't realize how hard it is to be a comedian, because I have a lot of friends who like think they're funny, and you have those friends like when they're drunk they always say something funny, or when they kind of around a group of people they're funny, but when they try to basically take that and transition to a live stage, it's like cricket. It was like the Oliver type situation, and as a friend you kind of like, oh man, you was good, but in actuality, they was terrible, and I've seen that so many times since I moved to Hollywood, to where it's like my friends, they be like, I'm so funny. Like, no, you're not funny.
Well, I think there's a difference in situational humor.
Yeah.
And then doing stand-up and having to produce jokes and content from the beginning to the punchline.
That's true.
And a lot of people think that maybe when they're funny around their friends, because they can make a joke off of some girl they saw or some situation that happened in their friend's life, they think that they can automatically transition to the stage, but it's not this. I think it's apples and oranges.
Anybody ever made a joke about you?
About me? I'm sure they have. No, what are you saying? Like a comedian when I was at a comedy club, or someone in real life? Yeah, I'm 100% positive they probably have.
Tell us.
I
What
don't.
kind of joke
I
are
mean,
you
like, what
referring
are you-
to?
I'm just saying in general, like you don't have like a running joke when you see your friend. They be like, oh, you're like.
Do you?
Yeah.
What's yours?
Yeah, like what's your joke?
Mine just be like every time I kind of walk in, even when I'm kind of dancing in the club, I always have my hands up. So when everybody see, they be like, oh.
Seriously?
That's
Are you drunk when this happens?
Only be funny amongst your friends.
Exactly.
I
I
said,
was
are you-
just gonna say that, Fahnia. So that's an example, because if one of your friends try to do that on stage, like Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. And
Wow.
Not that it's not funny,
Shots
but it's one of those
fired.
situations where you have to be there.
See, I'm funny, but I think I'm funny.
All right.
No,
humble
seriously.
too.
No, I'm gonna tell this. I think I'm funny because I don't try to be funny, but people are always laughing. Like I'm an angry New Yorker. You know what I'm saying? So listen, don't even start. But I'm an angry New Yorker. So I'm like always going off about things in my life. Like the way comedians go up and they go off about things about their life. And people just find it amazingly funny. And I'm like, but it's not funny. I'm really like, this is how I feel.
She is really venting.
Seriously. So, but like I'll have friends that are like, oh, ha, 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 like it's the funniest thing they ever heard. And I'm like, but I'm not even
So
laughing. So, hater. So it's just like one of those things. I'm like, I guess I'm funny. I would never try to be a comedian. That's not my thing. But I talk about real life stuff. Like I'll just keep it a buck. I'll go off about how I feel. And some people are just like, they find it amazingly hilarious. So like, I'm just like, all right, I guess I'm funny. But it's not like one of those things where I'm like, all right, I'm going to try my comedy skills. Like,
Yeah.
no. But I do think that, I can make, look, y'all laughing at me now. See what I'm talking about? This is what I'm talking about,
This
America.
is funny. This is hilarious. Like,
But this is what I'm saying. Like, I'll be in the car cursing out the world. Traffic, LA, everyone's slow. I mean, I'm a New Yorker, so everyone here is slow. And my friend will be dying in the front seat that I'm beeping my horn at somebody. And I'm like, but I'm real about how I feel right now. So, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think it also makes it more difficult when you're in a comedy setting. So this has nothing to do with what you were saying, but it's more difficult when you're in a comedy setting, because if you have various different friends, their opinion of what they think is funny or not funny probably varies from person to person. When you go to a comedy club, those people paid to get some good content and to hear jokes. So their expectations are high, and more than likely those are people that are not easily amused.
That's true.
So I think it also is one of the things that probably makes comedy a little bit harder.
Have you
But
ever
go ahead.
have you ever had a comedian make jokes at you?
I have, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have too, but it wasn't mean jokes. Like, it was maybe like the guy that I was with, like they were like, oh, their boyfriend and girlfriend when we weren't at all. And like one time I was at a comedy club and kind of had on a hoochie mama outfit, and he was like, oh, she has a music video to go shoot after this. But I mean, I don't think that's, it could have been worse. It wasn't like I was,
Yeah. Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, what was your joke?
I was in actually how at Esau. I was like one of his one of his sets
funny.
where like I used to wear glasses and stuff, and he was like, oh, look at Dr. Bottle Caps and stuff, and everybody's kind of like ha ha ha, laugh laugh laugh.
Bottle
Cause just saying my glasses were so thick, but they really wasn't. But everybody just look at it like, oh, like I see people like that all the time. Or he like told a joke that, oh, like your glass so thick I can see the middle of the next week and stuff. So
Wow.
so I was just kind of like, all my friends like dying laughing. I was like, that's not funny.
Have you ever heckled any comedians?
Nah. That's just disrespectful.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to a comedy club, I don't care if the person's not funny. I just have like the biggest Christmas morning grin on my face because I just feel I can only imagine that that's probably really difficult. And so I just try to be supportive and, you know, be a good audience member. And yeah, so funny.
You already paid your money, so it's like,
I know. They already got me for my 2-drink minimum. So
that's what I was going to say. After a few drinks, it all becomes funny anyway, unless they're horrible. But, you know, after you get the liquor rolling, it's kind of.
Everything's great.
So who do you guys think is funnier, Chris Rock or Kevin Hart? Is funnier or worse?
It's two different types of comedians.
Thank you. Yes.
It's two different types.
It's two different types.
of
What do you guys
comedy.
mean by that? Elaborate.
Like Kevin Hart is like, he could do things that's like he's a fool. You know what I mean? Like, that's not Chris Rock's MO. Chris Rock is like, I'm going to bring some real knowledge to you and break it down to you, and you're going to laugh because it's true.
Yeah.
And it's, or, you know, or that's politically incorrect. Or Kevin Hart is like, his comedy is what you see on the show, which is like satire. It's hilarious. I love it. They're not that you can't compare.
But you can look at Kevin Hart as more of an over exaggerative comedy, but he talks about his life in general versus Chris Rock. He might talk about politics. He might talk about real life stuff that's kind of going on in the world. Where it's not like, oh, well, I have to kind of dress up and roll around and basically
be
like
goofy.
goofy. Where Kevin Hart is just like, you look at him because he's such a small guy. You're like, man, what is he gonna do next? And he's so over exaggerative with it. It's funny.
Yeah.
So I mean, so that's what gets me. I laugh at him because I just feel like, you know what? I've been in that situation before.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, that is really good points that you guys bring up that I didn't even think about. But the question is still there: who's funnier? Which type of comedy is funnier within that?
Kevin Hart.
Okay,
Kevin Hart.
so we got one vote for Kevin.
I say Kevin is funny because of today's time.
All right, Fahnia.
It depends on my mood
No.
and where I'm at.
Oh,
No,
I thought you were trying to take like.
She was like, no, that is
they're both
wrong.
funny. They're both funny. No.
I'm a Gemini, so whatever personality is out at the time and whichever comedian is catering to that personality, that's who she likes.
Okay.
Third person. Get
That's
that
who
right.
she likes.
And Michelle.
I don't really have an answer.
Have you seen
Why
Chris
not?
Rock?
That's not fair.
The thing, I know, right? After I just bullied y'all.
Right.
Because I think whenever Chris Rock was more popular, I was a lot younger than I am now. And so it's like, obviously I can appreciate Kevin's jokes more, and I've heard more of Kevin because I'm a 20-something-year-old now versus a 15-year-old when Chris was out. And that's no shade at Chris.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I would say Kevin is funnier to me because I know more of his material.
Okay, that's fair.
So yeah.
So Kevin Hart is one. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah,
He did win the poll.
And this is his show, so, you know.
He was like, I'm going to be funny regardless.
Now we just need him to come on the show.
Yeah.
That's right. We're
Kevin, come talk to us. So who's funnier versus who's more popular? That's the next question, and that's what the whole show is about. Is Chris more popular? Is Kevin more popular? Is Kevin only black famous? Chloe thinks that he's only black famous.
I think he might possibly still be. Chris Rock had a very valid point. This is comedy. This is fun. Ha. But they are making fun of some of the truth, you know? Like, some of it is kind of true. Like, I had to really ask you, wasn't I asking you guys, like, isn't that true?
Yeah.
Because I think Chris Rock's career has catapulted to a level that Kevin Hart can be, but I don't think he's really there yet. You know, I feel like he's there, but I don't know. Like,
It's right. It's true. It's like
Right?
Chris Rock said. It's the white. I'm going to Conan, and you're going to Tom Joyner. Like, no shade to any of those, but that's just where he is right now in his career. Not to say that he'll never be there, which obviously he's on that trail. So
what was the other one he said? Prince. He said, I'm Prince.
And
Yeah,
you're
Trey
Trey
Songz.
Songz.
Yeah.
and Channel
was
4
dying.
and Twitter.
And
Which-
yeah,
That
and
was
Stevie-
kind of
mhm.
true.
I mean, but you gotta kind of look at it though. Like Chris Rock, extent of his career and everything he has done, he's like 20 years plus, really.
true.
You know,
Yeah.
you kind of look at Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is barely 10 years into the game because he started out in Philadelphia doing comedy in these small hole in wall clubs. And you know, he kind of came out with the whole Soul Plane movie, kind of gave him popularity. And you kind of look at the things that he have done over the course of his career, which you look at like 20 years in to 10 years in. You know, I think he's great for someone 10 years in the comedy industry or even in the entertainment industry to where he has enough success right now. Again, he's popular on Twitter. Cool.
Yeah.
He go to Tom Joyner. Cool. But who knows? He might be on Jimmy Kimmel or the Conan show or the Ellen show in like 5 years, in which he has been on various shows But at the same time, you got to kind of look at like Chris Rock, Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that they were saying that Kevin isn't popular. I think they were just kind of over exaggerating, obviously, to point out the fact that, you know,
It's the
to just
satire.
to
Yeah.
just make fun at the show. But I mean, I think Kevin Hart is pretty popular. I don't think he's just black popular, but comparatively speaking, Chris is more popular.
I will say this. He had 2 movies that came out in the movie theater, right? And I live in a predominantly white area. They did not
come
put
out.
that movie in the movie theater.
Are you
I had to travel to the hood.
are you talking about you live in a predominantly white area here in LA or back in
No,
New
here in
York?
LA.
And they didn't come out.
They
So
did not.
limited
Yeah, like it's
distribution.
very selective.
What
where
movies were they?
Yeah.
wasn't it Laugh at My Pain?
Yeah.
And then the newest
Let me
comedy.
explain.
Let me explain. Listen, it was not in everything, and they do
You're talking
that.
about the arc like Sherman Oaks. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, call them out.
That's girl. Ding ding. I mean, I wasn't gonna put my area on blast, but ding ding.
Well,
Seriously, you hit it nail on the head. Like, it's
I mean,
really-
but you gotta look at it, like Kevin's funny. I mean, he's funny because what he talks about. Everybody have that uncle or that family or that girlfriend or that type situation. When you kind of look at it, like, yeah, I've been there before. I know somebody like that. And Chris Rock, he's just kind of talking about. He's just more political with it.
yeah.
Kevin is hilarious. Chris is
Hands down.
hilarious.
They're both funny.
Now,
Yeah.
this whole endorsing situation,
I'm trying to endorse some things
It's
in my
like-
life. Like,
that was so funny. And it's true. Like, celebrities do get their stuff for free. Like,
oh my gosh.
we pay to keep up with them, and they're getting it all for free. I just think that in itself is great satire.
Yeah.
But it's just funny how it kind of actually started when Chris was like, he was like, yeah, I'm about to go. Like, all right, cool, let's go. And he kind of just walks away. And Kevin's just like, Chris, what are you doing? Like, you can't just do this. Is it okay to do this? And, you know, it's always funny with Kevin because when he actually kind of like he's kind of caught up in the situation, his demeanor and everything, cause you saw how he like slid out and started like running down the street and everything. You have to laugh at him like that. Like Chris Rock is very smooth, just kind of got up and just walked away. Kevin Hart's just kind of like, what do I do? Like, let me just kind of run away, guilty as it is. But you know, it's stuff like that when you kind of look at Kevin, like, okay, cool, he's funny because of those type of actions.
Now, do you think that's what happened to Winona Ryder when she was at Saxon Avenue?
She was like, I'm just gonna endorse this.
Shade, honey.
Like, that's her defense. Like, maybe that's what she was thinking.
She thought she was endorsing it and getting it for
That's
free.
what she should have said. Maybe they would have let her get away with it. I'm serious.
I mean, I think that I know that celebrities do get a lot of free stuff, but it's because it's like offered to them, not because they take it necessarily. So this was definitely.
It's
I mean, I
mostly
don't
sent to
know.
their house, or they actually come
Yeah.
pick it up. They don't just go to the store and be like, oh, I'm just going to take this right
I'm
here.
just gonna
And if they
endorse
did,
that.
they probably got a bill sent to their
House.
agent, their
Yeah.
manager, their PR.
Michael Jackson used to do that. Seriously,
Michael Jackson, though.
But that's the see, and
Michael
that is the
Jackson.
point that Chris Rock is making to Kevin Hart. Like, you know what I'm saying? Chris Rock in comedy believes he's like Michael Jackson in music. And Michael Jackson, I remember when he was in debt at a certain point in time, that they were saying like he would come into stores and be like, I want this, 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 this. They would send it to his house. He would never pay for it. And they would be, you know, they would just say like, it's Michael Jackson. They would send him a bill. He would never pay for it. But listen,
I can believe that.
celebrities
I mean,
think they endorsing stuff.
It's like, what are you endorsing? Because the word endorse to me kind of means products. And I guess what we're speaking about is all products. But if they're, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like if a celebrity tries to steal something that is already expensive that they want to actually have, not want because they're getting paid to endorse it, then more than likely that thing is already being worn by really rich people that are already endorsing the product, if that makes sense.
But they won't get the same free advertising or marketing if a common Joe is wearing it as opposed to a celebrity who's on TV who has all these people wanting to be like them and emulate them and will go out and be like, oh, Kevin Hart has that watch. I want that watch.
Free
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like
It's
it
free,
works
yeah.
for only certain products, though. This whole endorsing thing. I feel like
Not
some other
necessarily.
like products, it's kind of like
What
okay,
product-
they
what
get-
product wouldn't it work for?
They get
I don't know, like really
serious.
high end stuff that like I don't know, like
Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati, Maybach.
Wait, are you saying it only works for high end stuff?
no, I'm saying it doesn't really work for high end stuff because
Hey.
everyone that has it is obvious.
That's
No.
money.
No.
Nah.
I feel like endorsing works with the term sell to the masses, live with the classes. like companies that are trying to endorse their products to have, people in the middle class buy them. And so they have a celebrity wear them or purchase them or use them or whatever.
What's the basketball player that just tricked out like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari and it looks like a sneaker? He basically they put his skin on this luxury car because is it LeBron? Was it LeBron?
I'm not for sure.
I
They
think
put
it was
leather
LeBron.
on it or
No,
something?
they the outside a skin of the
make it look
car
like a sneaker.
to make it look like it was a sneaker.
That's
and it was
hot.
like
It's like,
obviously
it's hot. I want that,
and
but
only a
who
few
can get
percent-
it?
Only a few percent of people can
Yeah.
do it, but
I think
that's the kind of crazy stuff
Chris
that
Brown
they
had
do.
one. It was like a camouflage,
What is-
sneaker-looking type car and everything. But you gotta look at Sprite. Sprite's the number one endorser for a lot of different basketball and celebrities. McDonald's another endorser. Samsung. So you kind of
Common products.
Yeah, exactly.
But you don't need to steal McDonald's.
No, but she's talking about high-end products, and they only need LeBron James to have this tricked out Lamborghini for that one 18-year-old whose dad is sitting on gold bullion to be like, Daddy, that's the car I want. To be like, oh, done. That's all they need
Well,
as far
look
as
at
a sale.
women in all these award shows,
Louboutin.
Versace,
Yeah.
Louboutin, all of the, you know what I mean? Designers are quick to put their dress on a celebrity
carpet
and give it
events.
to them and give them their whole collection.
red carpet events, fashion shows. When you kind of look at it, though, it's that if I saw Angelina Jolie wearing something, or even if another celebrity saw her wearing it, they're like, okay, where can I purchase that from? Because you could always see in the tabloids where it's who wore this better? Angelina Jolie or J-Lo. So it's kind of comparison, okay.
No, I agree.
No matter what it is, even if it's high end or just a common day product, people still endorse these products, and companies want these celebrities or want these average individuals to endorse these products because, again, it just depends on who you catering to.
Endorse
it's
their
marketing.
name or endorse their product. It's someone's dress. That's endorsing more so a name than I think
It's a product. It's the
endorsing
product.
a product. I mean, I don't know. Let's agree to disagree. I just think
free
that
marketing.
I just think that endorsing works. Not to say that it doesn't work with high-end products, but I think it definitely works with some more common products a little bit better.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
That's true. I can concur with that.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want us to end on a low note. I don't know what that was all about, but I don't know. I think that endorsing aside and stealing aside and all that stuff, this made me think about all their bickering back and forth about who's the better comedian and who can steal something and get away with it. Made me think about, and this fake tour that they were talking about doing, it made me think about the possibility of there actually ever being a tour, maybe a second King of Comedies type situation, not by the same name maybe, but there's so many comedians that have kind of come up in popularity
depends on who
since
on
the
the tour.
Kings of Comedy.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that maybe would be
It
something in the future.
I mean,
What do you mean it depends?
It depends on who's on the tour.
Who would you like to see on a this generation Kings of Comedy tour?
Who do we really have right
Little
now?
Duval, Cat Williams. I don't know if he's still around.
Yeah, they cut off cat supply.
Okay, Little Duval, he's still around.
Okay, if you can get Cat wherever he is, yeah.
Kevin Hart,
Of course.
and then I don't know who the two other ones are going to be, but
G Thing, Red Grant.
the guy with the hazel eyes. What's his name?
Red Grant.
No.
You don't say.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought of D.L. Hughley, but he was on the first one.
I don't know. Anyway, that was just an idea that popped in my mind.
I mean, that's cool, yeah.
and I think it could get a lot of attention.
Can
no?
we talk about Kevin when he invited everybody to the restaurant and then ran away?
Yeah, we can talk about it really quickly.
Have you ever dined and ditched?
Yes.
How many times?
Probably too many times.
When was the last time?
Probably 3 weeks ago.
All of the restaurants in LA do not let this man eat
Where
in
were
your
you?
restaurant.
Where were you?
I shall not say.
Wait, 3 weeks ago you was really dining and ditching?
Are you being funny right now, or this is real life?
He's for real.
I'm being serious.
Wait, how much was the bill?
It don't matter.
I mean, I have been a server before, and I just think that is the most disgusting thing that anyone can do. I've never dined and ditched. Maybe if
I
you do it when
did
you're
it
younger,
one
and it's kind
time.
of funny, haha. But when you're an adult, if you can't afford to eat somewhere, don't
It's not
go.
about affording it. It's just the
It's
fact
just
that
about being
I
funny.
was able to do it.
Have you ever dined and ditched?
When I was a kid.
Yeah, when you're a kid and
12
you
or,
think it's funny,
12?
haha.
You was out.
Oh
Look,
my
I was
God.
like
I mean,
a
I don't
teenager
know.
too. But I was in college teenager, and it was a group of us, a huge group
In
of
college,
us.
you should know better.
I just think that a lot of
Should know
times,
better.
a lot of times, those waitresses get it I mean, whenever I was a server, I never had anyone dine and ditch on me. Thank you, God. But a lot of times the servers have to like take it out of their tips.
Oh my God. But see, look, this was the situation I was in. There was like literally 8 of us. And like one person was like, yo, I'm not paying. And I was like, what? And they were like, nah, I'm out of here. And we were like in Harlem.
So you didn't think it was fair for them to get away with it?
No, this is what happened. They literally got up and left the restaurant. And so after a while, I was like, I'm not being left with this bill. So we all got up and like one by one just left. And we took off running in Harlem down 117th Street. Listen, I ran so fast, so hard, my flip-flops came off and I caught glass in my foot.
Wow.
And
How much were the stitches compared to you covering the bill?
No.
I want to go back to you because this was 3 weeks ago. Were you solo?
No.
Who were you with?
Some friends.
There was a group of you guys and you left.
Yes.
And why? Were you high? You drunk? You just thought it was cute? Or-
Actually, what it was is that the waitresses, they was taking too long. We were sitting there waiting for our check for like 10, 15 minutes. And we were just like, you know what? All right, we're going to leave. Because like when you kind of tell somebody like several times, like, yo, can we get the check? Can we get the check? And it's,
I'm not mad at that.
and we're sitting there waiting. It's like, well, I'm going to sit and wait on you. All right, I ate. I asked for my check 3 or 4 times, and you refused to bring me my check.
What city were you in?
She's trying to go.
I just want to like, I'm just trying to get the picture here.
But you said you do it often. You were like, yeah, I do it all the time. So and every time it was the waitress taking too long, or
No.
no?
I mean,
it was you being ghetto.
I went on a date with somebody before, and
And you dined and ditched on a date?
Ditched? Oh my God.
she ditched too.
I hope she ditched you
Where's
after
she
that.
from? Where's she from?
Well then.
Y'all never
You
get
heard
too-
it right here, folks.
Y'all so honest. That's good.
Yeah, integrity.
I have it.
I mean, you're honest too. Honest about being
A diamond
dishonest.
ditcher, right?
Anyway, but does anybody, back to the show. Does anybody have any other comments on this episode?
Kevin getting ran over.
Yes.
But Chris Spencer said one joke. I mean, funny joke. Insane boat. It's like Kevin was real fast, and but then like the whole situation.
The guy's name is Usain Bolt.
I know,
That's
but
what I thought.
but he said insane boat.
Yeah, I know. I
Commented.
thought it was funny.
But you know when Chris Rock kind of came out, he was like, "Yo, Kevin, you ain't famous if you're able to like stop, give me your car. I'm
That's
Chris
true.
Rock." And the guy gave up his car, and like when Kevin did it, it was
Like, stop.
it's
You
like,
know what was really funny is that he was in the hospital with his watch outside of his cast, like the watch that he stole.
Yeah.
Was like
I didn't peep that.
it
Yeah.
survived the hit.
he did. And when everybody was like, "World star,"
I-
y'all never seen stuff like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all my friends are like that.
He's like,
They're
"World
"Oh,
star."
World star. I'm like, mm-mm.
And he's sitting there with like a
Down.
helmet on, a cast on, a chest brace on. I'm like, man. But also, another key point about that is when Chris kind of went on a Conan show and he stole all of the jokes. And that's the big thing about in the
Another thing people do in Hollywood.
in the industry is that you can't really steal another comedian jokes because that's kind of like real disrespectful. Because I've seen that happen before, and it's like they really get offended and mad because again, that's the material I wrote. It's my original material. Why are you taking my material?
Intellectual property.
Not if you're a newbie and the person who's stealing is Chris Rock. You saw how hyped he was. I'm about to write some more. Because then you think, where can your career go off of this? You know, so it
Writing
depends on the
jokes
situation.
For Chris Rock, I doubt it.
So did Paul Mooney for Richard Pryor, but Paul Mooney's Paul Mooney.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, you never know.
Never know.
You never know. Well, rest in peace, Richard Pryor, and make sure y'all check out our after show next week too. Any predictions for next week?
It'll get funnier.
No.
Oh,
And
I don't
now,
know.
your AfterBuzz
We
TV
make predictions.
predictions.
Kings of Comedy 2013, 2014. I predict that. It's
I second
happening.
that.
Yeah.
I think the show gonna be more funnier next week.
Whoop, whoop, I second that.
All right. Well, in the meantime, between now and next week, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Michelle Renee LA.
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Fahnia Thomas.
And you can find me at True Peoples, TruPeoples.
And I'm Chloe. You can find me at Chloe Onyx 11 on Twitter or Chloe Onyx on Instagram.
Thanks for watching, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.